Hello, welcome back to The Good, the Bad and the Stupid. It's Thursday the 19th of September. Getting on this one late today because I've been busy all day preparing myself for what is one of the earliest starts I've ever had tomorrow to go away. So this is going to be last one of the week. Don't be too pleased about that. I'm not going to be doing one tomorrow, Friday, should I say, not unless I get bored and do it on the road. I'm off to Bruges, over to Belgium, to have a look around an antique market. Oh yes, got to look out for one of these £1 million objects that people find in the bottom of a box somewhere. Well, going for it's a bit of a busman's holiday really, but hopefully I find something like that woman who found a Chinese vase. There's a Chinese vase that's just sold in an auction for £1.6 million, and the woman carried it into the auction under her arm like it was just something she just picked up as an afterthought in the hallway. And they valued it at £400, and it sold for £1.6 million because it had the mark on the bottom for, which dynasty was it? 18th century Chinese emperor had a mark on it. But a lot of times they have these marks and they're copies. This one was deemed to be the real deal, so that is what I'm looking for when I go away this weekend, Chinese or anything else really. It's going to be fun. Going to have a little mooch about. So yeah, I've been doing that all day, getting myself ready for that. Bloody insurance, travel documents, all that business, and scrapping with the vacuum at the Esso garage and putting air in the tyres and doing all that. That vacuum, trying to beat the, what's it called, the timer on the vacuum. It's like you're fucking having it off with Dr. Octopus, isn't it? I was trying to get it in all the nooks and crannies. First time my van's been vacuumed since... well, I've never vacuumed it, so there was a lot of work there, but anyway. So we're getting to this podcast video, whatever, a little bit late, so we're going to knock it out. Can't keep talking about me, so let's get on with what I'm meant to be doing, which is talking about the news. And what was it? Yeah, so, oh yeah, everyone was banging on about yesterday and a couple of days about Boris Johnson's visit to the hospital. Everybody's seen that? I mean, it's old news now, isn't it? But he was visiting that hospital, and for his press, what's it called? Press opportunity or whatever else, and that's what they was getting there. Nick is in a twist about, and rightly so, don't get me wrong. But it was funny, if you see that picture, the picture of him at the hospital with that bloke's berating him or whatever about the state of the hospitals. There's a woman, a nurse, behind him on his shoulder, if you like, and you can just see the look on her face is just a knowing look, as if to say, yeah, this is the state of the hospitals, or this is like, you know, you fucking deserve this, basically. And she gave a real knowing look, you know. You should check it out because it's like almost, you know, she's quite pleased that he's getting a drilling because, true, if they're on the front line and they're having to do double work, that's the way it is, isn't it? The hospitals, they do double. They don't want to let people down, so they do double the work in the time that they would have normally done. Or they're doing extra hours even as well, so they don't want to let people, they can't look someone in the eye and like say, sorry, we can't fucking mop up your blood or deal with you. They end up doing double work because they've got a conscience. But anyway, he got the shit kicked out of him, really, didn't he? Over the, he got quite embarrassing. Anyway, and then David Cameron has been banging on about his book, but he was on the TV today, wasn't he? And he said, was it this morning? He said shit, or was it yesterday? He said shit online. Not as like the fucking crime of the century. Busting the country over Brexit is the crime of the century, or causing the situation. He's a lot worse than saying shit on fucking Good Morning Television. The way that he did it with the TV, everyone pinpointing the blame to him, ain't they? But, you know, the shit he's just walked away from. Anyway, he said shit on the TV, and I said maybe he was talking about his new book. You know, was that his selling? Was he telling us subliminally what the book is, or how, if the book is shit? Or no, I'm getting tongue-tied here. Tongue-tied, not tongue-tied. Yeah, so Anyway, David Cameron's got a book out. I think that's going to be really, really boring. Anyway, anything interesting in it has probably been put in the newspapers already, hasn't it? So somebody said he's got lots of juicy information in there, but he's also got loads of shit that he's left out conveniently. Anyway, let's get off the politics and move on to the hiker that crawled through the woodlands in Australia for 2 days after breaking his arm and leg in a 20-foot plunge. He fell down a waterfall and dropped his mobile phone in a creek. And this is the kind of shit that would happen to me. He dropped his mobile phone in a creek, and after setting off for a 3-hour hike on Sunday, and basically had to carry his leg. He managed to put his leg in a splint below the knee and walking poles and snakebite bandages. Luckily, he was carrying some bandages. I wouldn't even be doing that. So he busted himself up and then managed to crawl to safety. So lucky man. And that's the way it happens, isn't it? Australia is like out to get you. It's very hard to go walking in the woods in Australia without fucking beaker, like an alarm, or dropping your phone in the creek is just unlucky, isn't it? But anyway, he survived. And there was another guy who fell down a crevasse climbing a glacier, and he fell down the crevasse, didn't he? And he was plunging down. And if you've been in a glacier, you sit there like you think you're a gunner because they can go down miles. Anyway, he stopped somewhere down, and because he realised he was safe, he realised, hang on a minute, I've survived. So then he gave himself and took a selfie. Have you seen that picture? He took a selfie of himself like with a smile, like as if to say, fucking thumbs up, I'm alive. And just he had to crawl himself back out then, didn't he? But it's these dangerous pursuits. I mean, I couldn't do that because I'm so clumsy. Like I say, I'd definitely be the guy who dropped his phone. It was one of those series of events, and it's like lock, stock and barrel, when he's hanging over the end and he drops his phone and he's trying to hang on to the gun that's worth all the money. That shit is what happens all the time to me. Anyway, back onto politics now. I forgot. Nigel Farage called Luxembourg's Prime Minister a pipsqueak after he embarrassed Boris Johnson with the solo press conference. The Brexit Party leader claimed it was clear that the emollient comments by basically saying it was clear that he was basically trying to rub Boris Johnson's nose in it and trying to score points, and he's called him a pipsqueak for trying to pull a fast one on the Prime Minister of England, so of Great Britain. So kind of was a little bit of a setup, wasn't he? Because he was reveling in it a little bit, the guy was, but having his moments in the press because nobody knew who the fuck he was, did they? I didn't know who he was. Never seen him before. Well, he's the president of Luxembourg, so there you go. Now we all know, but you come across as a bit spiteful, apparently, according to Nigel Farage. Right, speaking of penises, let's move back on to what's this guy? The Brit who revealed he thought his willy would die when he got an erection. He got an erection that lasted for 2 days, and surgeons had to operate to save it. It's not funny. You're laughing at. He basically just come on from nowhere, and he's got this 2-day erection, and they basically said it was a side effect from coming off painkillers. These side effects, you ever seen when you take some of these tablets or whatever? The list of side effects is as long as your arm, and they cover every eventuality. That and when you get something, you go, "Wow, it's in the small print. It's in the and you would never check all that, did you? So this is like something if you did read it, you think, "Nah, is that likely, really?" Well, he did to him. He got like a 2-day hard on. Apparently, there's a spider that I've talked about this before. There's a spider from Brazil, I think it is, that if it bites you, it can either give you a heart attack or a 4-day hard on. And I wondered how many women would accidentally sneak the spider into the bed if the guy wasn't up to scratch on an everyday basis. Anyway, this guy, he's what does he say? He's never experienced pain like it. It was absolute agony, and he was terrified. He thought it wouldn't go away. It was bigger than a usual erection, and it wouldn't stop throbbing. So many people would wish for that, and then all of a sudden it's probably the worst thing ever. So you can imagine that's quite painful. Males, I'm sure the males could imagine that's very painful. And they said it would die if they didn't give him an injection into it, and he had some steroids. And anyway, he survived. He's back to having sex and stuff now, so he's all good, I think. Didn't read the rest of it. Apparently, he was saying that he couldn't have sex earlier on. So obviously, I'm thinking that he's back. He's back in the game. Speaking of large things, this is a builder left dazzled. This is like something out of fucking Euro trash. This is, well, and that one, but this one's a builder was left dazzled by a 4.5-inch frazzle, not penis, frazzle. Because this what makes the news. You see, large objects being found in crisp packets seems to be fucking big news. I've talked about these before, haven't I? So he's got a frazzle. Harry Langley, 24, pulled out the bumper bacon snack 3 times normal size while eating lunch in his work van. We're getting the lowdown here. I didn't actually notice it straight away, which was weird because it was almost as big as the packet. The top end was sticking out as I pulled it out, and I thought to myself, that's massive. Okay, now this is like riveting, this, isn't it? Harry, who bought a multi-pack at B&M in Burton, Latimer, North Hants last week, he said, I was just fascinated. He's put it on Instagram. It's gone everywhere on Instagram. I can't believe it. I've put hundreds of pictures on Instagram. Never get anybody fucking interested in them. Frazzle. Everybody's like, the frazzle fans come out the woodwork. Are people actually looking for frazzle pictures on Instagram or something? Because these people don't know him, and they've all shared it around and everything, and everyone's going crazy for this fucking frazzle. Famous. So he said he's going to keep going back. I bet that shop's been awash with customers looking for the same thing as well, aren't they? We're having the photo outside the shop where the frazzle was found. God, what am I talking about? Who knows? Bobby's on the beach. Cops have opened a new station on Brighton Beach. A 6 foot by 9 foot blue and white beach hut. Look, it's quite cool. You can't see this on the podcast. You'll have to see it on the video. But it's basically a beach hut, and they've got some like sprayed on police officers sprayed on the side. Look, so I don't know if they're meant to be drunk, because they're meant to be showing that they've got a presence on the beach when all the pissheads and that are walking around and that. So I don't know whether they're meant to make people think that they're double glance and think, oh shit, the police are there. Look, watch it, because there's all bars and clubs and everything on the beach in Brighton, and fuck me, there's some pissheads. It's one of those places avoid if you're getting drunk yourself, fine, but if you're not, it's annoying. Sounds great, but it's not. It's annoying. Sound like a old fart, don't I? Sean Bean. Yeah. I always remember, was it Mark and Lard said something ages ago, years and years ago, when they said, Sean Bean, shouldn't his name be Sean Bourne or Sean Bean, because he's spelt the same, Seanbean. I thought that was hilarious at the time. Sean Bourne, has he's come out. I don't know if he's moaning, but he's talking about the films he's in. He's been killed. He's always been killed in the films, and he's like, I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 films. He's been killed off in. So he's like the master of being murdered or shot or drowned in a river, forced off a cliff by stampeding cattle, buried alive, impaled on an anchor, hung with chains, shot in the face, torn to pieces by horses, shot in the head while fighting in a car. So, you know, you talk about the token black man and whatever else. We've got the token Sean Bean here, because he's like fucking, when he gets a script come through, he must think, oh, what have I got to die in now, you know? So he's like the actor that everybody wants to murder, or that's the only, I don't know if he's getting pissed off about it. I haven't had time to read it because it's a fucking massive conversation with him. So let's just assume that he's pissed off for being given all the roles, that he doesn't survive. He's not the hero. Let's put it that way. But he's a baddie a lot of the time, so the baddies get killed, don't they? Maybe he's stereotyped as the bad guy. A dwarf muscle man hopes to become the world's strongest pound for pound man. World's strongest pound for pound man. Strong man, they should be saying there. The 4'6" actor said, I reckon I'm probably Britain's strongest small person, which is narrowing it down a little bit. You probably are, if you're, and he's quite muscly. Look aside again. You have to watch the videos. It's look at him. He's got a good body actually, but he's 4'6". He actually looks like a kid, doesn't he? Because he's he's young. Is he young? 25, so he's still a kid, isn't he? Anyway, he said he's taken to, what's it called, weightlifting. He said he was depressed with his size and whatever else, and so he's trying to grow out that way and show that he's a strong man, and he can lift 6 times his own weight, which I'm not too sure if he's short at what he weighs, whether that's I suppose he's, you know, it's equivalent of me carrying 6 times my own weight, isn't it? I suppose so. He's like the Ant-Man. He's an ant. He can carry 6 times. Ants can do that, can't they? Lift loads more than they could do themselves. So anyway, that's pretty strong. I wouldn't want to get in a scrap with him. He'd probably beat me up from fucking, you know, from underneath. Right, it's good for him. Is also, you can see him in the bodybuilding competitions, obviously, but also he's in pantomime, and he's got a TV career, so he ain't doing too badly, because he's fucking, you know, he probably wouldn't be doing those things if he wasn't short. But he calls himself a dwarf, but he's not a dwarf. So I don't know. He chooses to call himself a dwarf. Right, we're just going to move on to last couple of things here, because we're cutting it short, because I've got to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning to go tomorrow, so I'm hardly going to have any sleep at all. Mexican lager, Corona, drunk by millions in bottles topped with a lime slice, is being served on draft in the UK pubs to cut down on glass waste. The only reason I wanted to bring that, I don't know why I've brought that up, but I thought I wanted to mention that the reason. Does anybody know why the lime is in the bottle? I do. I was told this anyway, so I don't know whether it's true. I can't back myself up, but I'm told that in Mexico they put the lime in the top of the bottle, around the top of the bottle, to keep the flies off the beer, to keep the flies away from the beer. So the lime, the flies don't like the lime. And it's better than keep having flies flying into your beer and stuff. So there you go. Correct me if I'm wrong. Double check that for me. But we just think it's natural and just put the lime in the bottle, don't we? But it's no. It's actually to keep the flies away. So if you need flies off anything else, stick a lime around it. Right, I think I'm going to be finishing up on one more, if I can find it. Seeing the Northern Lights, this is the last one. Seeing the Northern Lights, visiting a nudist beach and camping at a music festival are among the top activities over 45s want to achieve. Well, all at once? You could actually do that all at once, couldn't you? You could be in a nudist, you could be dressed nude. Is there any beaches near the Northern Lights? You could camp nude at the Northern Lights. Therefore, you've done 3 in 1, haven't you? I don't know what this fucking thing is as you get older. Everybody wants to go and hang around nude in places, don't they? I don't get it. You might be a nudist and you might think I'm being small-minded here, but I don't get the kind of hanging around playing tennis in the nude, or playing like sitting around reading a book with no clothes on. By yourself maybe, but like they do it with other people, don't they? They're all sitting around like talking, like, and you know, with everything hanging out and whatever else. It's kind of like even like the fucking tribes in the jungle wear like a fucking fig leaf or something, or have that thing that ties their penis up here sort of thing, don't they? They have some kind of like situation going on, but people sit around playing Scrabble or fucking what's it called, conkers even, with in the nude. It's different maybe when I mean, like I say, these people are saying that people as they get older, these are the activities they want to take on board. So maybe when I'm finished fucking raving in the clubs down on the beach or whatever else, maybe then I'll start thinking about walking around naked in front of other people, chatting about the rose bush or something like that. I don't know. I'm not sure that's going to happen anytime soon, but some people enjoy it, and each to their own. So anyway, I'm off. I'm not going to be doing anything tomorrow, as I said. So possibly I might even do a video blog from the trip. Who knows? That'll be a different thing. But otherwise, be back on Monday. Hopefully, I haven't rambled on too much because I'm absolutely knackered. But fingers crossed, it's of interest to somebody. And oh no, hang on a minute. What time is it? No, I'm going to leave it there. Going to be back on Monday. Going to see you again next week. Goodbye.